Welcome to the 2015 Fall Commencement Ceremony for the Kansas State University Polytechnic campus. Please rise as we honor one of the oldest known traditions in commencement exercises, both for Kansas State University and for institutions of higher education around the world. Tonight's ceremony will begin with bagpipe music from Selenian Terry Ferguson. Our procession begins with the Kansas State Polytechnic Mace. The mace, a symbol of university scholarship and integrity since the 11th century, reminds us that education is one of the most cherished attributes of a free and democratic society. The mace is carried this evening by Dr. Rick Zajac, Professor of Physics and recipient of the 2015 Marchbanks Memorial Award for Teaching Excellence. Following Professor Zajac are Dr. Verna Fitzsimmons, CEO and Dean of Kansas State Polytechnic. She is followed by Dr. Kirk Schultz, President of Kansas State University. Shane Bangerter, Chair of the Kansas Board of Regents and tonight's keynote speaker. Brad Seidner, Senior Vice President and COO of the K-State Alumni Association. Dr. Alicia Starkey, Associate Dean of Undergraduate Studies. Dr. Kurt Barnhart, Associate Dean of Research and Engagement. Dr. Raju Dandu, Director of the Graduate Program. Dr. Don Von Bergen, Head of the Department of Arts, Sciences, and Business. Eric Chappé, Acting Head of the Department of Aviation. Dr. Mark Jackson, Head of the Department of Engineering Technology, and Dr. Mindy Markham, Associate Professor of the School of Family Studies and Human Services. The Kansas State Polytechnic faculty follows the platform party. They are led by Faculty Marshal Bill Gross. Please honor the graduating class as they now enter. They are led by Student Marshal and Student Governing Association President Elliott Rogers. Will the audience please remain standing for the national anthem, sung by Eric Cole.
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Everyone can please be seated. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Board of Regents and the faculty and the staff of Kansas State University Polytechnic campus, I extend a warm welcome to our candidates for graduation, their family and friends, and to all of our guests. This is truly a historic night for our campus. These seniors are part of the first graduating class for Kansas State Polytech. In October, the Kansas Board of Regents approved our identity transformation from K-State Salina to Kansas State Polytech. The new name solidifies our mission and our promise to provide students with hands-on, interdisciplinary, and applied learning, as well as continuing to supply students with professional programs and those ever-growing, more important connections with their industry. This year, we also celebrated our 50th anniversary, and since its inception, this campus has been dedicated to giving students the type of experience that directly prepares them for their life after graduation. We're excited for the next chapter of this campus, and we're proud to have each of you graduates representing Kansas State Polytechnic. Graduating class, this night belongs to you. You've accomplished quite a bit in the time that you've been here. And we're here tonight to recognize all of your achievements and to celebrate all that you have done. May this be a night that you always remember warmly.
Kansas State University is a land-grant public research university committed to teaching and learning, research and service to the people of Kansas, the nation, and our world. Our collective mission is best accomplished when every member of the university community acknowledges and celebrates the dignity and value of diversity. We each have our own story that shapes who we are and who we will become in the future. As part of our long-standing commencement traditions, Kansas State Polytechnic invites a member of our Student Governing Association to provide their personal perspective about graduation. Elliott Rogers is this year's SGA president. He is a junior currently from Lawrence, Kansas, studying airport management. Previous to becoming a Wildcat, Elliot attended Johnson County Community College in Overland Park, Kansas, where he was a leader in student government and represented the student body on several committees. He was born and raised in California, where he was a nationally competitive fencer and worked as a graphical artist. He also participated in Civil Air Patrol Air Force Auxiliary Cadet programs. At Kansas State Polytechnic, along with leading SGA, Elliot is a resident assistant and a member of Christian Challenge. He also has completed the first 6 weeks of United States Marine Corps Officer Candidate School in Quantico, Virginia. It is my pleasure to introduce Student Governing Association President Elliott Rogers.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It is always an honor when I have a chance to represent the students, when I have a chance to represent the student body as their president, as their confidant, as their advocate. And I want to say that right now, it's more of an honor. It's an honor to be here, to be able to give you part of your final message here. So I wanted to thank you for the time that you guys have given me to stand up here as a representation of your student government and to talk a little bit. I want to say the college degrees, it cost us. College degree cost us sacrifice, time, dedication. It's not something easy by any means, and we understand that a lot. It also costs us a lot of time. Time is something that we can't necessarily get back from our investment. You know, what we pay into our college degrees, that's something that we can earn back. What we muster up to go and complete the degrees, that's our personal exertion that we can probably give again. You know, that's the confidence that we've built up. But the time, it's not always something that will immediately come back to us. I got curious, so I did a little bit of research actually about time. And if you go to college 4 years and you follow the averages, you'll spend about 1,536 hours either in class, physically in class, or just studying for class time. Now, at some point, I'll be honest, we've probably all wondered, maybe there's something else that we could have done with that time. At least in the moment, there's probably something that we would have rather been doing with that time than diligently studying, as our parents know that we're doing. So I did a little bit more research, and I hope, especially at this point more than any other, it's obvious just how important the time was and how well spent your time has been over the last years that you've been here in college. But going with this curiosity, the way I figure it, you could have played roughly 768 basketball games back-to-back in the time that you've been spending specifically on your college education, or maybe more appropriate to some, you could have marathoned about 67 shows or seasons of a TV show, if that's more what you're into. Finally, I researched that you could also probably cruise about 175,104 miles in a Cessna 172 Skyhawk. But who's counting, right? But all wondering aside, the time you have spent here does mean something more than missed shows or games that you couldn't have participated in. Those sacrifices, we feel them in the moment, but we know how much further we get when all these people are here to recognize you and your accomplishments and your future that's waiting for you. This time spent, this moment here for you all, does mean that you've accomplished something. It means you've accomplished something that was not easy. It's something that probably for a long time didn't really have an end in sight. What this means is that when you find your next occupation, you will be able to confidently stand up and say that you can meet objectives and you will bring results. You can say that to people, maybe your next employer, but you can also say that to yourself. You have climbed a bit of a mountain. When you can stop and have a reflective moment by yourself, it's maybe around 3 o'clock tomorrow morning, think about it. I don't want you to think about it in terms of you survived, or in terms of I made it, or in terms of finally, but I want you to think about it in terms of from now on, when you want something, when you want to accomplish something, when you want to climb another mountain, regardless of the sacrifice or the dedication that it may take, you can get it. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, Elliot, for those wonderful words. Tonight's keynote speaker is someone who plays a significant role in our state's education system. He was appointed to the Kansas Board of Regents by Governor Sam Brownback in 2013 and is presently serving as the chair of the Board of Regents. He's a founding partner of Rabin, Bangerter, Rabin, PA, a legal practice that has an emphasis on civil litigation and worker compensation cases. Tonight's keynote speaker has served as a member of the Board of Trustees for the Dodge City Community College, the Board of Governors for the University of Kansas School of Law, and he has served on boards of the Kansas City Housing Authority, Dodge City Roundup Rodeo, I like that one, the Alley Teen Center, Dodge City Raceway Park. The American Trial Lawyers Association has also honored him as a top 100 trial lawyer in Kansas, and he was named the 2013 Lawyer of the Year in the 19th edition of Best Lawyers in America. He currently resides in Dodge City, but grew up in Leota, Kansas. Leota. You can tell I'm from Ohio. Where he earned his pilot's license and works endless hours on his farm between school activities and university attendance. He received his bachelor's degree in 1987 from Oral Roberts University and his law degree in 1990 from the University of Kansas School of Law. He and his wife Kirsten have 2 children, and he has over 3,000 flight hours. Can we use him? And he enjoys flying aerobatics in his Pitts S2B, and he's commuting in his Lincar. I can't read this. It's all in numerals. Lancer, which he actually flew in today, so I think we had some students that were actually out checking it out. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving a warm welcome to our speaker, Shane Bangerter. Sorry.
That's a tough one. Thank you, Dean Fitzsimmons, and I've been called a lot worse. Well, welcome everyone to the aerial wing of Kansas State University and Wildcat Nation. It's a great honor and privilege to be here this evening to share with you, to congratulate you, and to honor you with this ceremony. You know, one of the things that I've enjoyed most being on the Board of Regents is the great people that I get to meet and get to work with. And I have the opportunity to get to know the presidents of each of our 6 Regent universities, many of the faculty representatives, Fred among those who is here tonight from the K-State campus, who represents the faculty, the student leaders, and it just really impresses upon you how important it is to have a great team, and what a great team it takes to get to an evening like tonight. So I do want to take a moment and just thank the incredible administration at this facility, the amazing faculty, and capable staff. Without you, we could not be here, and thank you very much for your time and service to the students and to this institution. If we could give them just a quick round of applause. I also want to thank all those here in attendance, grandparents, parents, friends, and relatives who have helped make this night possible. The graduates here owe you a deep debt of gratitude, and I just want to acknowledge you and to thank you also for your time and service. To the international students that are here, that bring diversity and enrich our campus, thank you for being here. I would like to just take a moment, across the nation, this issue of diversity is something that's on all of our minds and has disrupted a lot of things in regards to our neighboring state, and we're feeling that across the country. But I had an opportunity over Thanksgiving. My son, who is in flight training at Shepherd Air Force Base in the NJEP program, it's a NATO fighter training program, and he's in training with Germans and Italians, was able to bring 3 Italians and 2 Germans with him home for Thanksgiving. Obviously, they couldn't travel back, and it was a relatively short break. And my daughter from Chicago brought a friend from the Dominican Republic. So we had rather a diverse Thanksgiving, speaking Italian, German, Spanish, and occasionally a little English. I also had the opportunity a few weeks ago to hear former President Clinton speak. And you know, he's kind of on the opposite end of the political spectrum, you know, from me. And I was kind of thinking, you know, why would I be here? But I got to tell you, it was one of the most amazing experiences and amazing speeches that I've heard. He did not go into politics at all. You would think with a wife running for president, it might be all about politics, but it was not. And the theme of his message was to appreciate diversity, to see others' differences, and to, when you really look and appreciate and honor and respect those differences, how it makes us all stronger. And I just really got that sense. You don't have to think back too long ago, and this country was at war with Italy and Germany. And now those countries are here training their fighter pilots with my son in our country. And the diversity that that brought, the appreciation that I had for them and their countries, the bonds that you form, makes us all richer and makes us all safer and makes us it provides us an environment where good decisions can be made. And so I just want to acknowledge and appreciate and encourage our graduates to appreciate those differences. President Schultz, Dean Fitzsimmons, is it all right maybe if I tell a little pilot story? How many of us here are pilots? There's a big cross-section over here. How many of us in the room are studying to be pilots or want to be pilots? Have a few of those. Now, I looked at the statistics this evening before I flew in, and I knew we were a pretty small percentage of the population, but I didn't realize how really small we are, which I'm not sure what that says about our judgment, as there are not very many of us who have chosen to do that. There's about 600,000 active pilots in the United States of America. I think there's around 318 million people in the United States. So if I've done my math correctly, I think that's 1/5 of 1% of the population who are pilots in the United States of America. So the pilots in the room, you're joining an elite group, and you've seen what it's taken to get here. You're in for an awesome career. I encourage you, if you still have a little bit of time, they've got a little decathlon out there in the hangar. Go get in that and do a little upset training. And as I experienced about a year ago, you'll be then looking for a pits and doing a little aerobatics competition. So it's just great to be able to land at an institution and taxi up to the front door. So it's just great. Now to the story. I'm a junior in high school. It's been a few years ago. And my cousins, I've got a couple of twin cousins, John and Don. And these guys are kind of off the chart smart, probably like a lot of these professors sitting here. Unlike some of them, maybe a little bit socially challenged. But we're studying chemistry. And I'm explaining to John and Don that I'd just taken some spin training in a Cessna 150. And John and Don say, you know what, that sounds like a great time. Why don't we go try that out? So you guys that have been through this process kind of are starting to appreciate how kind of ridiculous this is, right? So we go out to the airport, this little town, Leota, Kansas, far on the west side of the state. Get in the 150, takes forever to climb up to about 6,000 feet. And we pull the power back. Don drew the short straw and got to go first. The stall warning goes off. Airplane stalls, pull the elevator back, right? A little left rudder, airplane goes around. Opposite rudder, drop the elevator, airplane corrects, and we're flying again. We do a couple of those, and Don says, hey, Bangy, think we ought to let her go around a time or two. Not a good idea. So we pull the power back one more time. Airplane stalls. Elevator back, full left rudder. The airplane goes into a spin. Whoop, 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 whoop. And before we know it, we're heading straight down, no longer in a stall, no longer in a spin, and the airspeed indicator starts moving very rapidly. And the sound in the airplane sounds a little bit like shh. And we're thinking, this thing's going to come apart. And Don starts yelling, power back, Bangy, power back. I yelled to Don, the power is back. So we're just full speed going down. The windshield's full of brown dirt. I gingerly pull back on the elevator. We come out and we're maybe 500 feet above the ground. It's completely silent. We can't believe the airplane's together and we're still alive. And Don says, damn, Bangy, that was better than the Orient Express. The Orient Express is a roller coaster ride in Kansas City at World of Fun. He says, where do you think we are? I have no idea. Let's fly over to that elevator or that water tower and see if there's a name on it. So we flew over the water tower, and it was Marienthal, Kansas, which, if you know where Marienthal is, it's the next town to the east of Leota. So we know where we are, and we head back to the airport. Don says, hey, Bangy, why don't you make a low pass? Let John see if we've got any structural damage. I said, well, Don, if we've got structural damage, we have it. I'm putting this thing on the ground. So we survived that flight, and you pilots in the audience will know there's going to be lots of experiences like that. You'll learn to make good decisions by surviving the bad ones, and you'll make it. You'll make good decisions, and this training allows you to get to that point where you don't have to make so many mistakes to know when to make a good decision. Well, I hope I didn't take up too much time with that stupid personal story. A couple of comments that I would like to make, and some things that I would like to share with the graduates that I wish I had learned as a new and young student just graduating and just starting my career. One of those things may sound a little strange, but how many of you have been to Gates Barbecue in Kansas City? What do they say when you just barely have the door cracked open? Say it out loud. Hi, may I help you? Right? A warm welcome and an offer of service. Think of how your day might differ if, when you start your day, the first thing you do is greet the people that you're working with a warm welcome and an offer of service. It'll change your day, and it'll change the day of everyone else that you're having to work with. President Clinton mentioned that a little bit in his speech, too, that it's important to recognize folks in the room. When you walk into the room in the morning and you greet your colleagues, you greet your students, you greet your spouse, your children, to just acknowledge them and how important it is to just acknowledge them and to say, I see you, I value you, I want to know more about you, and I want to help you. A warm greeting and an offer of service. I was mentored as I started on the Board of Regents by our then president, Andy Tompkins, who has just recently retired. And many of you here on the stage and probably in the audience know Andy Tompkins. But he has set a perfect example of what I'm talking about. And in one of his speeches, a similar night like this, he said the following: "What I ultimately discovered in my late 20s and early 30s was that service to a broader good was more fulfilling. In essence, we became more important than me." So think through those words a little bit. There's such a nugget of huge value here if you can grasp that, what Andy is saying. He says service to a broader good, something bigger than yourself, was more fulfilling, and that we became more important than me. Another example, I recently had the opportunity, I'm not Catholic, but I had the opportunity to work with a group of nuns at Mount St. Scholastica here in Atchison, Kansas. And we did a 6-month study of the St. Benedict's spiritual exercises. And one of the main things that I took away from that, those spiritual exercises, was to think, I'm not sure how to put this in words, to think of yourself as lower than everyone else in the room. That's not to think less of yourself, but to think of yourself less often. And I think that's what Andy is getting at with his statement that we becomes more important than me, is that you think of yourself as less than everyone else in the room. And again, there's a huge nugget there, that if you can implement that, you set yourself apart and put yourself in a position where people really start valuing you, honoring you, and you start getting a sense of great personal fulfillment and satisfaction in how you live your life. I recently had the opportunity to travel to China, and they have a similar ritual, habit, maybe to say this, and it comes in two forms. One, when you make a toast in China, to honor the other person, you put your glass slightly below the other person's glass. And it gets a little comical at times because you end up toasting towards the floor. Another gesture that we experienced on nights like this, we did several convocations, graduation ceremonies. And in China, to honor the other person, you bow lower than they would bow. And so as you're handing out diplomas, it was a challenge oftentimes to be lower than the other person. And one of my fellow regents had bowed so low so often that he could barely walk off the stage after the graduation ceremony. But what a great visual to demonstrate thinking of yourself as lower than the other person, and to honor them by toasting slightly lower or bowing slightly lower to honor that other person. These truths, if implemented, will bring great meaning, purpose to your life, and fulfillment to your life, as Andy said. And the paradox is that the more you give, you would tend to receive more. The more you give, the more you receive. It's a paradox, but it is absolutely 100% true. The more you give, the more you'll receive. So even if your motives are not so altruistic, this principle will still work for you. I call that altruistic egotism. A final thought that I want to leave with you. Mother Teresa was once approached, and the person asked them about what they should be about. And she grabbed that person's hand and said, "Put your hand up for me." So if I can just indulge you, just put your hand up. And imagine this little nun standing in front of you, kind of giving you a word of wisdom and a word of truth. And she said the following words: "For the least of these." For the least of these. Remember the poor among us. You here, graduates, have attained a certain level of success. Your careers will take you to a place where you will be able to use your talents and skills in service to others. And as you do that, I would encourage you to not forget the least of those among us. So in closing, greet each other warmly and enthusiastically. Bow lower and make we more important than me. Offer yourselves in service to a broader good, and remember the least of those among you. May God bless you. May God bless Kansas State Polytechnic University, and congratulations, and thank you very much.
Mr. Bangerter, it's an honor to have you with us tonight, and we thank you for your thoughtful words of wisdom. Thank you. We have 6 students graduating with high honors tonight, a distinction by their purple and white cords. Please hold your applause until all of these students have been recognized. Students with a 3.85 or above K-State academic average are designated as magna cum laude. If present, would this student rise and remain standing? Clayton Mark Siemens. Students with a 3.75 or above K-State academic average are designated as cum laude. If present, would these students rise and remain standing? Timothy Samuel Bruner. Christian Paul Casey. Jennifer Renee Fox. Hakiro Katsuma. Miguel Angel Lopez Ortiz. Please join me in recognizing these students who have attained this level of high academic achievement.
It's now time to honor our entire graduating class, who we expect will honor us in the years to come. Kansas State University President Dr. Kirk Schultz is here tonight to confer the degrees for our graduates. President Schultz is the 13th president of our university, and during his time here, he has spearheaded a campus-wide, university-wide goal setting to move K-State forward and to be recognized as a top 50 research university by 2025.
It is now my honor and privilege to recognize Kansas State University Polytechnic undergraduates. Will all undergraduate candidates please rise and remain standing? Dr. Von Bergen, please present the degree candidates from the Arts, Sciences, and Business Department.
President Schultz, on behalf of the faculty of the Department of Arts, Sciences, and Business, I am honored to present our degree candidates.
Thank you, Dr. Von Bergen. Professor Choupé, please present the degree candidates from the Aviation Department.
On behalf of the faculty of the Aviation Department, I am honored to present these degree candidates.
Thank you. Dr. Jackson, please present the degree candidates from the Engineering Technology Department.
Thank you. On behalf of the faculty of the Department of Engineering Technology, I'm honored to present these degree candidates.
Thank you. Dr. Markham, please present the candidates from the School of Family Studies and Human Services and the College of Human Ecology.
On behalf of the faculty of the school, I'm honored to present our degree candidates.
Thank you. Okay, I think we got all that out of the way. You ready? All right. By the authority of the people of Kansas, the Kansas Board of Regents, upon recommendation by the faculty and upon completion of all degree requirements, I'm pleased to confer upon you the respective degrees you have earned at Kansas State University. Congratulations.
Sarah Catherine Byerley, Associate in Applied Science Business. Dane Thomas Barr, Bachelor's in Technology Management. Adam Scott Holloway, Bachelor's in Technology Management. Dylan McKee, Bachelor's in Technology Management, Business Minor. Jesse James Barnes, Bachelor's in Professional Pilot. Ian Dean Barnhart, Bachelor's in Professional Pilot. Thomas Bartholomew, Bachelor's in Professional Pilot. Scott Michael Bell, Bachelor's in Professional Pilot. Christian Paul Casey, Bachelor's in Professional Pilot, cum laude. Bryce Coy, Bachelor's in Professional Pilot. John Franklin Gandy, Bachelor's in Professional Pilot and Aviation Maintenance Management. Joel Garcia, Bachelor's in Professional Pilot, Aviation Safety Minor. Christopher Michael Getterslow, Bachelor's in Professional Pilot, Associate in Applied Business. Haikiro Katsuma, Bachelor's in Professional Pilot, cum laude. Gregory Monty, Bachelor's in Professional Pilot. Clayton Mark Siemens, Bachelor's in Professional Pilot, magna cum laude. Tyler William Thole, Bachelor's in Professional Pilot. Zachary Joseph Witkowskis, Bachelor's in Professional Pilot, Aviation Safety Minor. Timothy Samuel Bruner, Bachelor's in Unmanned Aircraft Systems, cum laude. Miguel Angel Lopez Ortiz, Bachelor's in Unmanned Aircraft Systems, Bachelor's in Technology Management, Business Minor, cum laude. Samuel Robert Sharp, Bachelor's in Unmanned Aircraft Systems. Najib Sleeman, Bachelor's in Unmanned Aircraft Systems. Jonathan James Corby, Associate and Bachelor's in Computer Systems Technology, Business Minor. Trevor James Lang, Associate and Bachelor's in Computer Systems Technology, Business Minor. Khalid Abdul-Jabbar, Associate and Bachelor's in Digital Media Technology. Tyler James Steeb, Bachelor's in Mechanical Engineering Technology. Nicholas Allen Ward, Associate and Bachelor's in Mechanical Engineering Technology. Charissa Marie Chestnut, Bachelor's in Family Studies and Human Services. Aaron Dale Evans, Bachelor's in Family Studies and Human Services. Jennifer Renee Fox, Bachelor's in Family Studies and Human Services, Women's Studies minor, cum laude. Christina Johnson, Bachelor's in Family Studies and Human Services, Personal Financial Planning, Associate in Applied Business.
This is one of my favorite days. Graduates, the time has come for you to begin a new chapter in your lives. This ceremony is called a commencement because it's time for you to end this phase of your life and begin or commence the next. You're obviously bright and competent, or we wouldn't let you be leaving. You are also obviously ready to take your place in society, and a society that desperately needs you now. We need your intelligence, we need your creativity, we need your passion and your enthusiasm. Be prepared to lead, be prepared to follow, learn to challenge the status quo, learn to enrich our society, and always remember that now you are, and forever, a member of the elite Kansas State University alumni.
Well, good evening, graduates, and again, welcome, family and friends. On behalf of the Kansas State Alumni Association, representing over 178,000 living graduates at Kansas State, we'd like to offer each of you our congratulations on your special accomplishment here tonight. We're also here to welcome you into a new relationship with your alma mater. Our mission at the Alumni Association is to lead and inspire lifelong involvement that will benefit Kansas State University and all members of our Wildcat community. I'd like to share 3 of our core values that guide us in our mission to help keep you connected with K-State. The first value is link. The Alumni Association provides the lifelong link that alumni depend upon to remain connected to their university. You can stay in touch through hundreds of events and activities on campus, across Kansas, around the country, and even internationally. Another value is tradition. You will likely celebrate a few traditions tonight, like singing the alma mater, or maybe stopping to do the KSU photo at your favorite place on campus. And then the third core value is purple, K-State purple. And might I say, we've got some mighty fine purple on stage tonight. But you know, to us K-Staters, purple is more than a color. It's a symbol of pride and connection, because when you see someone wearing K-State purple or a K-State class ring, you immediately get that sense of family. I'd also like to share in recognition to your graduation that your college and the Alumni Association are providing you with a complimentary 1-year membership to your Alumni Association. And we hope you'll always be an active member of the Alumni Association. K-State alumni are among the most loyal in the nation. In fact, you are now part of the #1 Alumni Association for 19 consecutive years in the Big 12 Conference for our percentage of graduates that are members. Well, that loyalty is shared worldwide by generations of K-Staters who have the same passion for K-State that all of you feel tonight as you earn your degree from one of the finest universities in the nation. The Alumni Association is also pleased to have presented to you tonight an exclusive alumni business card holder. And we hope you enjoy it. And as you go through life and your addresses change and your titles change, please keep us informed because we want to make sure you always stay connected to your K-State family. Again, congratulations on your very special accomplishment here tonight. Be proud of your university, wear your purple with pride, and as always, go K-State!
Parents, family, and friends, you've supported these students both emotionally and probably financially. Without your encouragement, this moment would not be possible. Some of you have traveled a short distance, while others of you have traveled halfway across the world to see your loved ones graduate tonight. So will the parents, the spouses, the significant others, the children, anyone that has helped support these graduates, please stand and be recognized for your contribution. Faculty and staff, it is through your dedication to your own academic excellence and your passion for sharing your knowledge that these graduates have learned and they've grown both on a personal and an academic, on their academic levels. You are the foundation upon which these individuals will build their future professional lives. Will the faculty and staff please stand to be recognized for their outstanding work? Now I ask all the new graduates to stand. This time, grab a hold of your tassel, move it to the other side. Congratulations. And I get to say, this concludes the commencement ceremony for the first time, Kansas State University Polytechnic campus.
The audience may remain seated during the recessional. We invite you to join us for a reception honoring our graduates immediately following the ceremony in the concourse. Thank you for attending tonight's commencement.